coronavirus.
The voice of my higher self whispered, along with an intense vibratory feeling within my whole body. If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Nikola Tesla. The supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting. Supreme excellence consists of breaking the enemy's resistance without fighting. Sun Tzu. With a deep gut feeling, I could feel the vibrational war within myself. At the center of my chest, I felt two opposite forces of energy clashing with each other. Consequently, our physical senses cannot perceive the warfare that is currently taking place. Reason being, it is on a level that is very subtle. As a result, you can only become aware of it by increasing the vibratory rate of the physical body to a higher frequency. Using deep sexual meditation as a vehicle of ascension, the vibratory rate of my intestines increased rapidly, eliminating all the waste material from my body. As this happens, my forehead felt raised as if I was a high vibrational being. With my head feeling very light, my mind became free from all physical limitations, allowing me to awaken dormant superhuman abilities. The more I ascended into the spiritual world, uncontrollably, the faster I vibrated, thus allowing the veil to become thinner and easier to see through, like a fog clearing up. As I unlocked deep, profound truths, like a mighty war in the sky, on a very high mental level, deep down in the depths of my soul, I felt the powerful, rapid vibratory words of the truth, like a very sharp sword in spiritual warfare.
Like a fire drill, or like an earthquake drill learned at school, we are being prepared and trained for something big. The storm is brewing. The storm is brewing. Be merry, be merry. Like the biblical story of Satan being cast into the bottomless pit, or like Alice in Wonderland falling deep down the rabbit hole, we shall dive down into the bottomless pit of consciousness, opening the third eye to the truth about the coronavirus. But before I go any further, it is imperative that I bring a crucial matter to the light of day. This is really serious, people. Signs that I'm being tracked and that my personal information was being collected started to surface right after I had posted on YouTube my video book trailer entitled Samalak 7721. From the video was uploaded on March 17, 2019 up to September 3rd, 2019, evidence that I was under surveillance resurfaced several times so I could be aware. Unlike the sleeping mass of people who are really oblivious to what is going on, the people, on the other hand, who are in control of the whole world are aware of a Masonic energy that is present here on the earth. Waking up to the horrific reality that I was being monitored confirmed the premonition I had that the message my video book trailer conveyed would arouse and trigger an alarm. From a spiritual perspective, we shall look behind the scenes of external events, such as the coronavirus pandemic. As you can see, around my head was the sun along with the rays extending out, which has a striking resemblance to the spike protein of the so-called coronavirus. On June 25th, 2013, I began having direct telepathic communication with God, higher self. With this ability to commune with the spiritual realms, I am going to show you the correlation between the sun and pandemics. We are also going to look at how the light from the sun affects the earth, including our physical bodies and our consciousness. Thus, we shall see our connection to the sun. Now let the mysteries be revealed. Corona is the Latin word for crown or halo. The sun's corona is an aurora of plasma that surrounds the sun and other planets. The sun's corona extends millions of kilometers into outer space and is most seen easily during a total solar eclipse, but is also observable with a coronagraph. The scientists who in 1968 came up with the term coronavirus thought that under a microscope, the virus they were looking at resembled a solar corona, the bright crown-like ring of gases surrounding the sun that is visible during a solar eclipse. Courtesy, U.S. National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases. Now people, what is a coronal mass ejection, or in other words, CME? It is a significant release of plasma and accompanying magnetic field from the solar corona. They often follow solar flares and are normally present during a solar prominence eruption. The plasma is released into the solar wind and can be observed in the coronagraph imagery. CMEs most often originate from active regions on the sun's surface, such as groupings of sunspots associated with frequent flares. Near solar maxima, the sun produces about 3 CMEs every day, whereas near solar minima, there is about 1 CME every 5 days. With the North and South Pole switching or flipping places, this could weaken Earth's protective magnetic field. Earth's magnetic field is what shields us from harmful space radiation, which can damage cells, cause cancer, and fry electronic circuits and electrical grids. With a weaker field in place, some scientists actually think this could expose planes to higher levels of radiation, making flights less safe. And we can see this playing out during the coronavirus pandemic, where planes fly at a higher altitude, and we also see that they have to ground planes during these times of high levels of radiation. So this is where the coronavirus came from, where people come down on planes feeling ill? Digging deeper. Around the head of saints and Masonic beings, there is always the depiction of a glorious sun disk or a halo of light. This crown or halo seen around their heads appears when the Kundalini energy, or in other words, the serpentine energy from the base of the spine is raised to the forehead and penetrated into the pineal gland. The pineal gland secretes high levels of melanin during this light body transformation, and you are able to hear the inner voice of your higher self, along with powerful, rapid vibratory visions with your physical eyes wide open. The penetrated serpentine energy, or sexual energy, causes a glorious light like the appearance of the sun around the head. The corona/crown chakra. While meditating, like the sun around my head, I saw that we must rise up and take the crown. The one who rises up and takes the crown becomes the king. A true spiritual leader is one who ascends and takes the crown chakra. I took the crown chakra/Godhead. Unlike a physical crown, This is the spiritual crown. It is the real crown. I felt an opening like a door at the top or crown of my head. Through this opening, I came up out of my body. When we dematerialize the physical form, our spirits look like a giant. A giant symbolizes a very tall height of consciousness. Many people are afraid to tackle the heights. They are in fear of climbing up to the heights of consciousness. When we conquer the giant and decapitate its head, it is actually a representation of our lower self rising up to the higher consciousness and attains the giant head of wisdom and knowledge. There is an inner book inside of us. It is the Bible within the Bible. I could feel this inner book vibrating rapidly within me. All this knowledge is from the book within me, or if some people want to call it DNA. As the vibratory rate of my physical body vibrates rapidly, biochemical knowledge that was transmitted through the DNA of my physical body became available to my consciousness. By transcendental meditation, we have the ability to also rewire our DNA for spiritual transcendence. My book, the Bible, is my body, and the 7 seals, my chakras. 7 seals, 7 chakras, 7 candlesticks. For people who are unaware what chakra is, I'm going to just briefly define it for you. Chakra is a Sanskrit term and it means wheel or disc. Chakras are spinning wheels of light/energy. Chakras are the circular sea of energy that are placed in 7 different points on the spinal column, and all the 7 chakras are connected to the various organs and glands within the body. These chakras are responsible for distributing the life energy. Ezekiel 1, verses 19 to 21. And when the living creatures went, the wheels went by them. And when the living creatures were lifted up from the earth, the wheels were lifted up. For the spirit of the living creature was in the wheels. Ezekiel 1, verses 27 to 28. And I saw the color of amber, as the appearance of fire round about it within it, from the appearance of his lions even upward, and from the appearance of his lion even downwards. I saw as it were the appearance of fire, and it had a brightness round about it, as the appearance of the bow that is in the cloud in the day of rain. So was the appearance of the brightness round about it. This was the appearance of the lightness of the glory of the Lord. And when I saw it, Ezekiel said he fell upon his face, and I heard a voice of one that spake. So therefore, through the chakras and the Kundalini energy, when it is raised up to the pineal gland, we have the ability to directly tap into a higher source of energy, or in other words, infinite intelligence, and we can directly communicate with God. People, this is not something that is impossible. This is something that can be done through deep spiritual meditation. It can be done by activating the chakras through music, through dancing, whichever way fits for most people. But personally, I use meditation, while some Asian cultures, like the San people in Africa, they use certain dancing with dry seed pods to activate this Kundalini energy and have out of body experience, bringing back down healing and energy to the earth and to their people. That's the secrets of the Asians. They directly communicate with God, higher self, or some people even want to call it aliens, so to speak. According to this book called Christian Esoteric Apocalypse Kundalini Science by Frank M. Conaway Jr., and I quote, The 144,000 petals of the main chakra are coronal, located to the summit of the cranium, represent the 144,000 rays of light originated from all the 7 chakras, or centers of energy of the body. Deployed and balanced are again the 144,000 vibrations of the divine creation, which travels in the cosmos and that are source of life. The only center located outside the physical body is a gate into and out of our realm. It is presented in 1,000 petals. When we add the number of petals of the 5 inferior psychic centers, we obtain a total of 48 petals. By adding 96 petals of the frontal center, the place of the third eye where the small number must receive its divine mark, we obtain the number 144, symbol of the perfect and expressed spiritual work, that is to say, of the marriage between the soul and the personality. If we now multiply 144 by the 1,000 petals of the coronal center, we obtain 144,000, the number of the helix, who will be all these that will have waked up in them the 7 stars, are spiritual and psychic centers. Thus, the 1,000 petals function as portals for the 144 of 6 inner centers. Hence the universal number 144,000. End of quote. Numbers 21, verse 9. And Moses made a serpent of brass, and put it upon a pole. And it came to pass, that if a serpent had bitten any man, when he beheld the serpent of brass, he lived. The logo of the World Health Organization features the rod of Asclepius as a symbol for healing. WHO's emblem was chosen by the First World Health Assembly in 1948. The emblem consists of the United Nations symbol surmounted by a staff with a snake coiling round it. The staff with the snake has been a symbol of medicine and the medical profession. It originates from the story of Asclepius, who was revered by the ancient Greeks as a god of healing and whose cult involved the use of snakes. Asclepius, incidentally, was so successful at saving lives that the legend goes, Hades, the god of the underworld, complained about him to the supreme god Zeus, who, fearing that the healer might make humans immortal, killed Asclepius with a thunderbolt. The word virus comes from a Latin word meaning poison, slime, venom. Medically, it describes a microorganism that is smaller than a bacterium that cannot grow or reproduce from a living cell. It is a piece of genetic information, DNA or RNA within a protective coat. Let us examine a key word here, venom. When we hear the word venom, we think of snakes, naturally. The shedding of the serpent's skin indicates longevity and immortality. The snake's ability to change from an inert stage to one of rapid activity symbolizes the power to recuperate from an illness. Therefore, the snake has been a powerful symbol of healing itself. Kundalini is a coiled snake. In Hinduism, it is a form of divine feminine energy, or Shakti, believed to be located at the base of the spine. It is an important concept in Shiva Tantra, where it is believed to be a force or power associated with the divine feminine, or the formless aspect of the goddess. This energy in the body, when cultivated and awakened through tantric practice, is believed to lead to spiritual liberation. On both sides of the World Health Organization emblem, we see 2 olive branches. If we count the leaves on each olive branch, it would amount to 13. The number 13 has a unique association with the divine feminine. It is important to note that there are 13 moon cycles in a year. The number 13 was revered in prehistoric goddess worshiping cultures due to the fact that it corresponded to the number of lunar menstrual cycles in a year. To the ancient Egyptians, the number 13 symbolized the joyous afterlife. The goal of this physical life was to spiritually ascend to a higher dimension of this reality, which unfolded in 12 stages, leading to a 13th which extended beyond the grave. 13 is an important number also used in the Great Seal of the United States. There are also 13 stars in the crest above the eagle, 13 stripes in the shield, 13 arrows in the eagle's left claw, 13 olives and leaves in the eagle's right claw, and 13 letters in the motto. The Cosmic Serpent DNA and the Origins of Knowledge by J. Narby. And I quote, "DNA is the informational molecule of life, and its very essence consists in being both single and double, like the mythical serpents. Some biologists describe DNA as an ancient high biotechnology containing over 100 trillion times as much information by volume as our most sophisticated information storage devices. The DNA double helix represented as a pair of snakes. By turning the picture upside down, you can see that the molecule is completely symmetrical. Each half of the double helix can serve as a template for the synthesis of its complementary half. Inside the nucleus, DNA coils and uncoils, wreaths and wriggles. Scientists often compare the form and movements of this long molecule to those of a snake. Molecular biologist Christopher Wills writes, "The 2 chains of DNA resembles 2 snakes coiled around each other in some elaborate courtship ritual." To sum up, DNA is a snake-shaped master of transformation that lives in water and is both extremely long and small, single and double, just like the cosmic serpent. Quoting further from the book, The Cosmic Serpent DNA and the Origins of Knowledge. In this chapter, Receptors and Transmitters, my investigation had led me to formulate the following working hypotheses. In their visions, shamans take their consciousness down to the molecular level and gain access to information related to DNA, which they call animate essences or spirits. This is where they see double helixes, twisted ladders, and chromosome shapes. This is how shamanic cultures have known for millennia that the vital principle is the same for all living beings and is shaped like 2 entwined serpents or a vine, a rope. The serpent lord enthroned. This figure is taken from Mesopotamia, seal of 2200 BC, and shows the deity in human form, enthroned with his caduceus emblem behind and a fire altar before. The symbol of this serpent lord was none other than a double helix. The similarity with the representation of DNA was unmistakable. The serpent is also a double helix, which is the representation of DNA. People who practice what we call shamanism communicate with DNA. End quote. Serpent in the form of a cross, along with the medical sign. John 3, verses 14 to 21. And Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness. Even so must the Son of Man be lifted up, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have eternal life. The spiritual world is represented by an upright serpent of wisdom and knowledge. The upright serpent is the universal Savior. Exodus 4, verse 3. And Moses answered and said, But, behold, they will not believe me, nor hearken unto my voice, for they will say, The Lord hath not appeared unto thee. And the Lord said unto him, What is in thine hand? And he said, A rod. And he said, Cast it on the ground. And he cast it on the ground, and it became a serpent. And Moses fled from before it. And the Lord said unto Moses, Put forth thine hand, and take it by the tail. And he put forth his hand, and caught it, and it became a rod in his hand. This describes the metaphysical science of Kundalini energy. The fallen rod represents the fallen serpentine energy within ourselves. The upright rod is the rise of the fallen serpent from the base of the spine up to the pineal gland. It is a rise from a dead level of consciousness. Psalms 2, verses 9 to 12. Thou shalt break them with a rod of iron. Thou shalt dash them to pieces like a potter's vessel. The medical symbol is the serpentine energy within all of us. It is the tree of life. The serpentine energy sleeps at the trunk of the tree. It is the tree which hangs the body of man. The tree is his backbone. In order to return to oneness, the sleeping serpent must awaken and rise up the tree, backbone, and enter the fruit, third eye.